There's no place like home. There's no place.
Home. Our house is a very, very, very fine house with 2 cats in the yard. Life used to be so hard. Now everything is easy 'cause of you.
Well, hi there. Good morning. This is Home Wizards, where we love to help improve your home and improve your life. Our new time, 8 to 10 in the morning.
Love it. I'm here. Wow. Isn't
here.
it amazing? It's
Wow.
I can't believe I just take the coffee, I run, and I get here, and I love it. There's no traffic, but it's so windy last night.
Well, it was a tumbleweed that kind of brought you here.
It came. Yeah, I just got on it, and here I am.
Eric Stromer,
Yeah.
Cindy Dole here, and we're all about helping you figure out just what it means to make your space you call home a little more peaceful, maybe a little more exciting, whatever it is. And in terms of peaceful, there's this thing called Feng Shui. You know about Feng Shui.
You know what? I've actually studied a bit.
You've studied it?
Yes.
Should we call you Master Eric then?
Well, you do already, but yeah, on air, sure.
Boy, you've got so much going on, because last week we were talking about lighting.
There I am. Just close your eyes.
You are Master Eric. Wow, I'm feeling the vibe.
That's right.
I feel so...
No, that's the wrong vibe.
Wait a minute. That's Valentine's Day and Barry White. Hold on, that's later. This is Harmony. Grounded, yoga classes.
Yeah.
I told you about my yoga instructor who whispers.
You
so
know,
I'm like, I can't hear her. What?
And my other pet peeve is masseuse folks who get in right into your ear and go, go ahead and turn over. That part, I hate that part.
So this is about that in terms of harmony in your home, Feng Shui.
Yeah.
And we have this great guest with us we're going to have on in just a second. But let me just tell you, we've talked about this before on the show, and I was so excited. I had a practitioner, if you will, come to our home, and they spend about a couple hours with this compass. Have you had that happen to your home?
You know,
too?
I have not had the practitioner come, but now that I know our guest, I'm going to be excited. Yeah.
So, they walk through your house. They first look at the entryway, where the energy is and where your bed is in terms of, the doors. And I spend a lot of time in our home office. What does that mean? You want to make sure it's prosperous, and the colors and the water and all that stuff. So I thought we'd talk about, because this is a new Chinese New Year, by the way, this week.
And what is this year going to be?
It is the year of the water dragon.
Ah, of course.
Well, now wait a minute.
Well, no, I'm an ox. I'm the year of the ox.
Okay.
So
we knew
so
that.
there.
So there. But so the water dragon means all kinds of things, and so does Feng Shui. And so just to kind of help us figure it out so we know what we're doing right or wrong in our home, Kartar Diamond is a Feng Shui specialist, and thanks for being here, Kartar.
Thank you for having me.
So you've been doing this thing for quite some time, right?
20 years now.
What led you into Feng Shui and just wanting to be into that peaceful place?
Well, I've always been interested in metaphysical topics, and this was just a perfect segue. I picked a book up on Feng Shui back when there were only 2 books on the subject in English, yeah. And then I very quickly, within a week, I met my first teacher. And so I just, right place, right time, which is another definition of good Feng Shui, happened to have a good teacher right away, and there I went. It became trendy in the 90s and put me on the map.
Wow.
Yeah, it's amazing, too, that power of intention. So you got interested. There's the instructor right away. He shows up. And then next thing you know, you're in this business. Amazing.
Well, I didn't think I could turn it into a business because it was very obscure. Even in the early 90s, I was out consulting and didn't bother with a business card because who knew what Feng Shui was except a select group of very hip people in Los Angeles.
You were saying that even today when there's home improvement, trade shows that are going on, right? Mm-hmm. You're leery about whether the audience there will really welcome Feng Shui or not.
Yeah.
Like, what is it? Is it kind of this, hocus pocus stuff?
Yeah, they're not, unless they have a spiritual orientation towards life, they're not necessarily going to relate to it. But I've educated a lot of people, and I'm actually amazed at how mainstream it is. There was even a point about 10 years ago when Coldwell Banker actually had me listed on their vendors list. Yeah, I was part of their concierge list.
You know, those bankers, anything to make a buck.
See, I don't put banking and harmonious in the
real
same.
estate.
It's a lot, but that's a lot of purple
right.
in the Caldwell, right? Because the color purple, doesn't that attract money or something?
Well, I don't know if they ever consulted with somebody about that, but it was in demand when people were buying homes.
Well, true.
They wanted to know, is this a good home to get into even?
And so naturally, it's a Chinese philosophy that comes from hundreds and hundreds of years ago.
Well, thousands
Thousands of
actually.
years ago.
It goes back a few thousand years, and there's other great cultures that have their version
I
of
see.
Feng Shui. But we always say it originated and became very sophisticated through the Chinese system called Feng Shui. And yeah, it's very powerful. But it's like gravity. You don't have to be Chinese to relate to it.
You don't.
It's for
and
everybody.
I think that even if people can't relate to it, maybe it's just the word Feng Shui that sounds kind of, I don't know, unapproachable. When you get down to that Feng Shui is just feeling good, it's like, okay, now I get it.
Well, it's about your environment. And everybody, whether they're skeptical or not, can understand and appreciate that they are affected by their environment, sometimes in obvious ways, sometimes non-obvious. And we all get a feeling if we like a place initially, if we're there or not. In fact, that might be what spurs a lot of people on to remodel their home. There's something, that is
Unsettling.
off, they don't like, they need more lighting, what have you. And in Feng Shui, we can categorize these things, whether it's yin-yang theory, if the house is too dark, it's too yin. If it's too bright, it's too yang. And there you go. So everybody
See,
can
I've been
relate to it.
pronouncing all these things wrong. I thought it was yang, yin, yang.
You can say yang.
Again, my
Yin-yang.
Cantonese is not from your region, so I'm sorry.
But it is
That's
okay to call it feng, not fang. Feng Shui.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay. At least we're saying
I
that.
got to tell you, here's my my idea on this is that you do walk into a home, you know when it's flowing or not. If the floor plan is working, especially when it's empty, you know that it's oriented in the right way. And I would imagine that all those principles do apply because you just sense it when you walk into a specific kind of a room.
Well, some people sense it and some people don't. In fact, when I teach a lot, I like to use the analogy that sometimes you go to a home or a business and you initially feel really good. And it might be like infatuation in a relationship where you're not seeing the flaws right away or experiencing them. So
That's called the fifth date.
But I go to lots of spaces, homes, businesses where it looks great architecturally, the landscaping might be meticulous, and yet the energy might still be really unbalanced
Right.
and off. And so it's the non-obvious things that we calculate in traditional Feng Shui that are really interesting.
So now we are in this new year, and it means a lot of things to different people.
Right.
But for those who are really hardcore, they celebrated the Chinese New Year by cleansing their home of certain things. So talk about what that would mean in terms of getting out the bad.
Well, in Chinese culture, of course, we just passed the Chinese Lunar New Year. I think it was on the 23rd, and that changes from year to year, the lunar calendar. But in Feng Shui, we always adhere to the solar calendar, which is always beginning on February 4th or 5th. It doesn't vacillate by more than a day. So we're coming up on February 4th. And people do different things. Sometimes people do different space clearing remedies and procedures with their house, but also in a very methodical way, we look at the floor plan, we look at the house, and I'm in my annual update season right now. We talked about it the other day, where I have hundreds of clients that want to know what kind of energy is going to be in my bedroom this year, my entrance, my home office, important areas. Should I remodel my kitchen? Should I remodel my bathroom? And so we have this big shift of energy on the 4th, and people want to know what, if anything, they need to change in their environment. So
So it changes year to year. Or,
Yes.
Really?
Yes, there's actually monthly cycles too, but I really get into those.
That's a lot of home improvement.
So wait, you mean so for example, you would take a room and you would do your thing in terms of putting the feng shui elements, feng shui, however we say it, and then the next year you'd have to change it all over again or
Well,
switch things up.
There are semi-permanent energies that every structure will have based on when it was built and what direction it's facing. And those will be enduring energies for decades, very predictable, unless somebody does a radical remodel. Now, then we have these annual energies come in, and it's kind of like having a guest in your home or 8 guests in all the 8 directions. And those act as triggers for things to happen. Like, theoretical example, let's say somebody's, the energy in their bedroom indicates loneliness, aloof, detached, and then an annual energy comes in that repeats that. That might be the year the couple gets a divorce. Or let's say your back door area, your family room potentially has energy for break-in. It's not going to happen every day, but in an annual cycle, it might act as a trigger when there's more negative energy in that area. So in Feng Shui, we like to prevent these things. So we have remedies, a lot of different resources. 5-element theory is very, very strong in its effect. And you've probably heard that we have these 5 elements: water, wood, fire, earth, metal. And literally adding these elements to a room can
Like
change,
a waterfall or the
Right.
sound of water, right?
a metal desk.
Not
Actual raw
only adding
elements.
the elements in, but where on the wall in terms of compass
Strategically
direction
placed,
they
yes.
go, correct?
Yes, we have to use a compass to do anything of any meaning in Feng Shui.
So if you have problems with directions, the Feng Shui thing may not be for you.
well,
unless
then
you,
have
unless you have a
professionals.
nav system in your home.
Or Google Map or
Yeah.
something. Well, hold that thought. We're going to take a quick break as we're learning about Feng Shui and what these principles, as you say, from water to earth to so forth, can do to change how you feel about your home and the people you're
you
with.
know what? I have to have your card because you got to help me. I got
Okay.
3 nutty kids, and it's crazy at my house.
Yeah, and we're going to downsize some of that bad stuff, right?
Good.
You got
Yes.
it. Home Wizards here, our new time, 8 to 10 in the morning here on Saturdays. Eric Stromer, Cindy Dole. We're bringing you some Feng Shui after this on KFWB News Talk 980. Take deep breaths. This is not your meditation class, but it could be. Or yoga class. Yes, you're waking up to Home Wizards, our new time, 8 to 10. Eric Stromer, Cindy Dole.
I can't believe how long I held that yogic handstand during the break. Thank you for teaching
Well,
that one.
Perfect
Appreciate
Yoda's
that.
position,
Yeah.
too. Really nice. And the downward dog position.
I do good
Very
on that one,
flexible.
yeah. Thank
Anyway, welcome to the show. As you're just discovering us, we love to help you improve your home and improve your life. And that just might mean the whole idea of Feng Shui. And you go, what's that? Is that kind of that weird mystical thing? Well, not necessarily. And I think a lot of us, when we say you walk into this hotel, let's say, or a restaurant, and you feel very peaceful and it's very clean, you go, has a kind of a Feng Shui look to it. Haven't you used that as an
Yeah,
expression?
and also a feel, like you said.
Yeah,
you
like
walk
there's bamboo or there's
well,
water.
a great example. And let me ask you this: so you walk into a great Chinese restaurant. There's always a fish tank. It's no accident, is it? Or is that become sort of parody of this?
Well, culturally, they relate to water as being able to attract prosperity. But just because somebody's Chinese doesn't mean they know Feng Shui. It doesn't mean every Chinese person walking down the street's an acupuncturist.
Well,
either.
you know Feng Shui, and you're with
Right.
us. This is a Kartar diamond,
Right.
and you've been studying and practicing Feng Shui for, 30 years?
20 years.
20 years.
Yeah.
And you were saying that you have to be legitimate. You can't practice it and just, not have the background.
It's not an intuitive art. You can't just feel or intuit everything. Of course, it's good to have intuition, but there's so many mechanical and learned and trainable things that we can use in Feng Shui that you don't have to rely on your intuition. And part of it is calculating a house based on when it's built and its precise compass
Or
direction.
when we've moved in, you said, right?
That's another aspect. Plus, annual energies, everything shifts. So we can calculate. It's actually very mathematical. But going back to the aspect of water in the right location can do a number of things. It could correct a low back problem. It could increase prosperity. It can attract sexual partners. Water in the wrong place could attract crime, lawsuits, gossip. So we have to use these elements with respect, with knowledge, and very strategically. Like a common Feng Shui myth or misunderstanding is that if you put all the elements together, that it's going to create balance. No, they just cancel each other out.
So so I have a water feature on the southeast corner of my home.
outside.
Am I riddled with sexual problems?
I'd have to know more about your house, but that was a good question. You said outside or inside, because that
Right.
makes a
Yeah,
difference.
no, mine's
as well.
outside. You know
'Cause
my phone.
You want us to have some water sounds inside as well, right?
And specific to the house,
Yeah,
definitely.
I mean, we don't mean like a running toilet. That
No,
doesn't count.
that's
Oh
not good Feng Shui.
shoot! Oh man.
Leaky faucets don't count. But if you're living in an apartment, let's say, or a condo or a house, I mean, this can be applied no matter where you live. It's just about getting the right expert to guide you so that around your place, you're just reminded of these things that are going to make you feel in a certain way and it's going to bring things to your life.
And whether you're aware of it or not, like
Yeah.
the human body, so there are people who are deficient in vitamins and minerals. They get what they need, and then they start feeling better. And so we could say the magnetic field in a room could be deficient in something, be it water or metal or wood. And then we add these items in the decor, in the furnishings, hopefully inconspicuously, hopefully elegantly.
I mean, we don't want a dragon sitting in our living room. We're not going to be that obvious,
No,
right? I
no.
mean, it is the year of the water dragon, but I don't think Well, you do have that dragon costume, Eric. I don't want you coming over in that,
yes.
little.
You don't have to have symbols of dragons.
And then what about okay, so here's my question.
Yeah.
You can right a wrong room, obviously.
You
I
can
mean,
what?
without right a wrong
correct,
room. I mean,
correct. Gotcha.
like you can take aspects and amend certain rooms and leave what you have in existence but offset it with certain elements, I would imagine.
yes.
I
Or
don't
not.
know, but structurally, what if? I mean, sometimes home sales are doomed because of that doorway, right?
Right. I mean, the good news is that a lot of things can be fixed internally with interior decorating and design techniques that are affordable and easy. But once in a while, there's an architectural problem that really can only be fixed architecturally. Let's say somebody wants to add a room onto their house. A classically trained Feng Shui practitioner would be able to tell whether they're actually expanding a good area of their house or expanding a negative area, and whether to reconsider that. Or the timing. For instance, we're talking about it being the year of the dragon. That represents a section of southeast. We call it east-southeast. And this year, it's called the Tai Sui direction, where it's quite accident-prone. So if somebody wanted to remodel a part of their house or dig up a tree in a certain part of their backyard, if it happened to be in the dragon sector this year,
You're going down.
they could be asking for problems. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So we try to avoid that if we can, postpone it if you can. And if you can't, then we have these countermeasures and remedies to try to make lemonade out of lemons.
So we have someone like you, a feng shui specialist, come to our home. We pay you by the hour or whatever, and you're a consultant. Is that how it works?
Yeah,
basically?
I'm a full-time practitioner.
And
Yeah.
then you walk through the home and you do this all in a couple of
No,
hours.
she walks through the home and she goes, "Oh no, this is bad."
I can't take it anymore.
I decide I'm going to call myself a home wizard from
Oh,
now on.
there you go.
Hey.
Welcome.
But seriously, you can do this in maybe a day. I mean, that's when we had a practitioner come to our home. It was basically a few hours, and then they
Yeah.
came back with the report, and they had the compass and
Right.
walked throughout. Is that basically how it works?
Yeah, I draw a floor plan sketch if somebody doesn't already have one. I do it right then and there. I consult right then and there. And then I also do follow up with a written report. It's like a homeowner's manual, and I think it's important for people to be able to refer to it, especially since there are often a lot of recommendations and nobody can remember all of that stuff.
See,
So-
and then we can say, you were right,
I know,
Kartar.
people say
like
that.
6 months later.
And then, so color too influences things greatly. Yes.
It can. Like a really large display of red color vibrates some heat, so it's the fire element. Or if a room had a black wall, that would be the water element. Or a lot of blue color is also the water element. Not as strong as the real elements, but we can use it as backup reinforcement.
And the real elements being structure and orientation to direction.
Or if a room needed the wood element, a live plant would be much better than a green wall. But you could certainly use that as backup reinforcement, the colors.
Talk about some of the things that we could easily buy and bring the whole feng shui thing quickly to our home. Like this weekend, I hear that bamboo is a great way to start, right? Bamboo, or maybe even the lucky bamboo plant.
Well, those are symbolic, and those are meaningful to a lot of people. But I just look at bamboo as the wood element. And
right.
whether or not it's needed in somebody's home, is specific to their space. But
I
as
see.
an example, this year of the dragon, it just so happens that along with it being associated with the direction of southeast, there are certain feng shui cycles where it happens to coincide with this annual energy. We call it the 5-star. We give these energies names, and we call them stars.
It's a membership.
Yeah, the 5
I
yellow
want
emperor.
in. Yeah.
They call it the evil emperor. And it's energy that's associated with accidents and arguments, delays. And it's going to be in the southeast sector of everybody's home. And it's this type of earth energy that we would like to reduce, if not completely eliminate, and you do it with metal. Now, metal can be anything made out of copper, brass, bronze, iron, steel. If somebody goes to the effort of figuring out where the southeast portion of their house is, and they say, wow, okay, it's my bedroom, but I've got a brass bed frame, then they can feel like they're done. But, you wanted advice for people to run out and get something this weekend. look at the room that's in the southeast. Is there 100 pounds of metal there already? If not, then maybe you need to go out and get something. Or, I like to tell people, just go get some barbell weights and throw them in the corner.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Quick and dirty, because you really just need the element. In terms of water, this year the location of east could be good for a lot of people to place water. Can help with academic achievement and business, career, romance.
And that could be a little indoor fountain of some kind. They have those desktop fountains. Okay.
Right. Clean circulating water. Another area where we should have metal this year is in the north, because everybody's north this year will have energy associated with sickness or possible accidents as well. And metal stabilizes it.
So we need more TVs, is what you're saying.
No, TVs aren't a good source of metal.
No.
Something that doesn't have an electrical current running through it.
Oh, good. In fact, when we had the practitioner come to our house, they were really focused on where I had my computer set up in terms of impact on your health.
And where you spend most of your time.
Yeah.
Like, we can talk about the whole house, but where you sleep at night, 8 hours, that's really important. A home office, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10 hours a day, extremely important.
And what about the idea of beams running over the top of your head while you're sleeping, for example? Isn't that something that
can make the energy in a bedroom very chaotic and ultimately cause sleep problems. So in a bedroom, we want to avoid exposed beams if they're there. Some people get, a canopy bed as a way to deflect the energy back upwards.
So, Kartar, let's give everybody your website. It is fengshuisolutions.net.
Correct.
Thank you for being so sexy, Kartar.
Thank
as we
you.
segue into our next segment, which is going to be on bringing romance to your home because Valentine's Day is coming up. Thank you. We might get more romance with Feng Shui, I think.
I know. Off air, we'll figure out what we're
get it.
really going to do.
All right, Kartar Diamond, her website again, fengshuisolutions.net. Up next, how to bring romance to the different parts of your home in terms of the
What do you mean how to bring it? I'm trying to take it away, man. I got 3 kids.
It's
over now. I got to stop.
Over. Okay.
Yeah.
Home Wizards, Eric Strover, Cindy Dole. We're back in a moment here on KFWB News Talk 980.
I'm a model, you know